Welcome to Shambhu Sessions, a podcast of inspiring conversations with musicians, artists, and visionaries of our time. I'm your host, Shambhu, guitarist and composer, and today I'm joined by Jacob Edgar, producer, ethnomusicologist, curator, and longtime creative force behind Putumayo World music. I've been a fan of their CD compilations since the 90s when I first saw their vibrant, beautifully illustrated covers in record stores, boutique shops, and cafes. And I'm delighted that Putumayo included my track Reflections on their Dream World release, and my music appears on several of their streaming playlists, which you can find on all major listening platforms. Today we'll learn more about Putumayo's legacy, Jacob's role in shaping its sound, and how he envisions the future of the label. Jacob, welcome. It's an honor to finally meet you. And how are you and where are you?
I'm in Vermont right now. I split my time between Vermont and Montreal when I'm not traveling to the far corners of the globe, and I'm well. It's been a crazy year. The past year was pretty dynamic, but I'm having a great time and listening to lots of wonderful music, and it's a good life.
I'm going to start with Putumayo's origin and history. How did you first get involved with them? And what was your initial role? Were you curating music right away?
Yeah, I first started working with Putumayo way back in 1998. I studied ethnomusicology at UCLA and realized pretty early on that I was more interested in the music industry than I was in academia. So I started working for record labels and music distributors. This is at the time when the era of CDs, when there were mega record stores all across the world, Tower Records and Virgin and all of that stuff. And Putumayo had started in 1993, so about 5 years before I started working for them. And I knew about them. They were, I was really intrigued by the concept and the branding and this whole notion of a world music record label that was targeting a wider audience. And I got to know Dan. Dan Storper, the founder of the company, we met at a conference in New Orleans and really hit it off. He liked my taste, and he asked me if I would be his roving musical explorer, and that's what I've been doing pretty much since 1998. My job for Putumayo has been to travel the world and listen to all the albums I could get my hands on and research projects when we're working on specific releases, and just basically be the in-house musical expert for the label.
Great. So when he got going in 93, he got support from Rhino Records. Was that really kind of pivotal in getting distribution all over the world for your work?
That really launched things. It's sort of the history of Putumayo. It wasn't always a record label. It started originally as a retailer. Dan had a couple of stores. I think he had 4 or 5 stores, mostly in New York City, that were selling clothing and gift products from different countries and arts and crafts. And he started the label because he was playing the music in his stores. And people were asking about this music from different countries. This is at a time when what we now call world music wasn't really that accessible to people. We didn't have the internet. We didn't have this level of distribution that we have now. And so for a lot of people, this was really something new. And so through his collaborations with the Social Venture Network, which was a network of socially conscious, business-minded businesses, Ben and Jerry's and Seventh Generation, these types of organizations. He met Richard Foos, who was the head of Rhino Records, and they decided to collaborate on this concept of a compilations record label with a brand focus, and it really took off right away. It was immediately well received. Dan very quickly realized that he didn't really need Rhino to do what he wanted to do, and he also had a different vision. And I think what made Putumayo unique was they had a different approach to how they marketed and sold records. So, their main bread and butter wasn't the traditional record stores. Putumayo, because they came out of this retail world, Dan really had this vision to sell Putumayo in places that you wouldn't normally find CDs. So he was selling to bookstores and gift shops and museum stores and hotels. And there was even a hardware store in Brooklyn that used to carry Putumayo CDs. I mean, you could find them everywhere. And up until about the mid-2000s, Yeah, you could travel to Zanzibar or Costa Rica or Japan or the far-flung corners of the world, and you would find kiosks with exclusive Putumayo displays in them. And this was really revolutionary, and it wasn't really the way Rhino did business. So it was pretty quickly after that relationship started that it was clear that it wasn't necessary to be working with Rhino, and Dan went independent and had been independent ever since.
Wow. And was it the visual identity of the covers that was really key to building the brand? And is that the same concept today?
Yeah, that's been the same idea from the very beginning. Dan worked with a young artist at the time, and she's not so young anymore, Nicola Heindel, who is a British painter who had a very naive folk art style in her work. And he basically brought Nicola under his wing, and she became the exclusive Putumayo artist for many, many, many years. Nowadays, we continue to develop artwork based on her original drawings and paintings, but we are adapting them. So we're no longer asking her to create new artwork. That stopped about maybe 6 or 7 years ago. We have this whole repertoire of figures and characters and backgrounds and all types of stuff that she created for us over the years. So now we work with a graphic designer who is taking Nicola's artwork and repurposing it for this new digital record label that we've developed.
Is global music still the core DNA of what the label's trying to present and share?
Absolutely. Putumayo, the idea of it is that music is a cultural expression of humanity. It's something that reflects where we've come from in our history and our identities and our cultural expressions, and we love that. We think that music is not just the sound of the music. It's also the richness of the people that made it and the lives, the different diverse lifestyles that it comes from. Putumayo really is a company with a mission, and that mission is to celebrate cultural diversity. For some reason, this whole notion of DEI has become a bad word, but that really is part of our DNA in the sense that we feel that we should be celebrating our differences. We should be enjoying what makes each person different and unique, and all of the aspects of culture. And that culture can also mean American culture. American roots music has been a big part of our work. Blues, Zydeco, Cajun music, Latin, salsa, things that have all bubbled up here in the United States that are reflections of a wide variety of cultural trajectories. Not to mention music from all different countries of the world, or collaborations and fusions and the ways in which artists from different cultures work together to create new flavors that draw on their traditions. That's all been part of what Putumayo has always done and always will do, because we find that it's become even more important to have that type of focus. As I mentioned, this whole backlash against diversity for some reason in our national conversation, I find pretty disappointing. So I feel that it's important for us to maintain that tradition. And in these days of AI music, when more and more music is being created by computers, we want to remind people that music is a cultural expression of human beings. It's something that comes from the lives that we've lived and the influences that we've had around us. And so we're fervently anti-AI in any music that we include on our compilations, because we believe that it's, music is part of humanity, and it should be that.
Yeah, you guys are like the United Nations of music on one hand, and then on the other, music is kind of like a universal language. It's not just sort of a commercial property. It's
That's
it's
true.
it's
Yeah.
really a special way that people communicate, and every style of music can live in the same room.
Yeah. And, obviously Putumayo is a business. We've always been a business. We've been good at marketing. We've been good at promoting. We do want to make enough money to keep us going, but also to benefit the artists. We want to be generating revenue and opportunities for them. So we do approach it with a business mindset. Yet what we're trying to demonstrate is that this rich world of music that you wouldn't necessarily consider to be commercial in the purest sense, that there is a market for it, that there's an audience for it, that people are interested in it. Not everybody wants to listen to the latest pop music on the radio charts all the time. People want to hear music that reflects the world around them. And so what Putumayo really did was take this world of music and present it to people in a very easy and digestible package that made it safe for people to enter into that world. I think a lot of people, they become intimidated by the fact that they don't maybe speak a particular language, that they might not know details of a particular tradition. And so what we really try to do at Putumayo is to essentially say to people, you are welcome to enjoy this music. You are welcome to experience other cultures and to, appreciate them. And we're going to make it easy for you. We're going to do the hard work of finding music that we think you're really going to love. And you can begin your journey with us. And if you decide to go deeper and to really get into whatever, Tuvan throat singing or something really esoteric, go for it. We're happy for you to do that. And we hope that someday, when you do deepen your adventure, you'll look back and say it all started with us.
Love that. And how many hours a day do you spend listening to and searching out new music? And how has your understanding of world music changed over the decades?
I spent a lot of time listening to music.
I bet.
Many hours in a day and nights. I listen to music when I'm on walks, on airplanes, traveling in the car. It's constant because there's constantly new music being made. I'm listening to older recordings as well. It's gotten fairly overwhelming. The amount of music that's produced has really increased because the barriers to entry have gone down, both in terms of production and distribution. So it's an incredible amount of music. But I've gotten very good at identifying what is really our vibe. We don't necessarily pretend to be a label that is trying to represent the wide world of music in its entirety. There's so much, So what we really focused on was creating an aesthetic that was very Putumayo. Like, in some ways, you're going to hear something really different, but at the same time, it's going to be accessible to you. That you're not going to get something really, you're not going to get heavy metal. You're not going to get really wild, rootsy, field recordings or things like that. You're going to get professionally produced songs with strong melodies that we feel have a positive message or a positive vibe to them. So it's fairly easy to identify quickly songs that we feel are in the Putumayo spirit. And so that's really what I try to do, is whittle down, and pour through stuff and find those real gems that we think people are going to love.
And how do you come up with the compilation concepts? I mean, you'd think that everything's already been done, but music continually evolves, doesn't it?
Yeah. And, like when you're doing a compilation that's 10 to 12 songs or something, maybe you've done a Celtic music compilation before, but, 5 years ago, there were different songs and now there's new songs. There's always sort of new artists coming up, and it does get, tricky sometimes to come up with new themes that aren't too repetitive. We want to come up with titles and concepts that are not too esoteric or unusual. So it can be challenging sometimes. And in the old days, I would say we came up with the concept first, and then we would go out and find the songs that we wanted for that particular concept. We used to do thematic albums, like Music from the Coffee Lands was a classic Putumayo collection, where we would go out and find songs from coffee producing countries of the world. Now with the new Putumayo digital record label, Putumayo Discovery, we're basically constantly licensing new songs. We're getting permission from artists for songs that we like, and we don't know necessarily what theme they're going to end up together on. And we create what's essentially a pool of songs. And then we put out 2 digital albums every month, and we have to go through that pool and say, okay, how do these songs fit together? What are some common things that we can do? Sometimes they're really specific. Like we just put out an album of French language bossa nova songs. We happen to have 10 really fantastic French bossa novas. And other times we've done more general concepts like global cafe or cultural crossroads, or things that sort of have expansive themes that enable us to fit a lot of different things under one umbrella. It's part of the challenge. It's also part of the fun, to come up with some concept and see if it sticks. And sometimes it does, and sometimes it takes a while, but usually it finds its audience.
So, how has streaming changed your curatorial strategy, and how is Putumayo adapting to streaming? I mean, you're putting out a lot of releases, compilations, and then playlists and things like that.
Yeah, it's changed our approach dramatically. For most of its history, Putumayo was very married to the physical CD. That was such a big part of our identity. This product that you held in your hands that had a tangible quality to it, that had liner notes and artwork and photographs of artists, and sometimes would have recipes or cultural guides. I mean, it was really something you would give to people as a present. And we struggled for many years to define a digital strategy for Putumayo, one that could capture what it was that we do as a record label and as a brand, but that also would be monetizable. Like, how could we make money from this in order to sustain a business? Obviously, if you have a physical product that you're selling, that's easy enough. But what was going to be our business in this new streaming world? And to top it all off, Dan, who founded the company, really hated digital music. He hated streaming. He hated downloads. He loved that physical product. He came out of the retail world where you bought objects. I have always been really into digital music. Personally, I love having a world in my pocket and not having to, there used to be times when I had, my desk was just covered with CDs. And up until last year, I had an archive of 40,000 CDs from all over the world.
I see a lot of them in the back.
Yeah, well, these are from my own record label, from Kumbansha. This is my inventory, but
Wow.
I used to have 40,000 CDs that I'd collected from all over the world. And believe me when I say I was happy to find a home for them that wasn't my own home.
You and John DiLiberto from Echoes Radio should have a competition on that.
Yeah. I donated them as a special collection, the Putumayo and Jacob Edgar collection of world music, to Harvard. So they're living at the Harvard Global Music
Great
Library.
is that?
Yeah, it was fantastic. But so I tried to come up with ways to create a business model in the digital world that would work for Putumayo, which eventually we, after some trial and error, discovered with this Putumayo Discovery concept, which is basically we do 2 10-song compilations every month. You can subscribe to our series through Bandcamp, and you'll get a little bonus. You'll get liner notes and information about the artists if you do that. Otherwise, you can just listen to our compilations on all of the streaming and download platforms. And we're basically using the recognition of the Putumayo brand in this context to help raise awareness for artists whose music they're struggling to get their music heard. On these platforms, there's hundreds of thousands of songs coming out every month. The artists that were featured are not algorithm friendly. They're in languages that don't fit the algorithm. They're in styles and genres that don't fit the algorithm. And so we basically wanted to create our own little Putumayo algorithm within these platforms, and successfully demonstrated that there is an audience for that, for people who are looking for some guidance of what to listen to, and they don't like computers telling them what to listen to. It doesn't really reflect, actual taste, human taste. So that's
And if people want to buy music from Putumayo, where's the best place to buy it?
Well, the only options that you have to buy music from us now are downloads. So there's no physical CDs anymore. We're not manufacturing new physical products. You can buy downloads from our Bandcamp store, Putumayo Bandcamp store, or you can buy it on Amazon and iTunes. They have downloads, or those types of platforms that offer downloads. Other than that, it's streaming. You can support us if you like the mission of what we're doing. You can support us by subscribing. And for $10, just under $10 a month, you get 2 full-length digital albums in the digital format of your choice, with a bonus booklet that has all the pictures of the artists and bios and song lyrics and translations of the meanings of the songs and interesting cultural information and things like that. What we do have plans for is to expand our subscription model so that we can offer actual physical CDs and perhaps vinyl for subscribers only. We don't really want to get into a world of distributing physical product again like we used to do, but we like the idea of being able to take advantage of the new ways of manufacturing small runs for subscribers. So probably in the coming year, we'll announce a new subscriber-based program through which people can get physical product again from.
And do people sign up for your mailing list at putumayo.com in order to stay in touch with all that?
Yep. We send out regular emails with new releases, suggestions, new videos. We really are trying to create a discovery platform where people can, hear a couple of new things every week, and it'll really expand their world, we hope.
So it sounds like you found a way to deal with an algorithmic driven world.
Well, it's a constant battle, to be honest. It's a struggle because, I get the impression that people at the digital platforms really love the concept of algorithms doing all the work of human beings. But I think that for people who really care, what I would compare it to, it's like, I see us as sort of the slow food movement of music, in the sense that we're looking at, imagine, people who eat locally or are really care about the quality and the human care that goes into the creation of what they eat. It's the same with music. We want to be an outlet for people who really are interested in quality and human creativity. If you're just looking for something to play in the background that is, made by a computer, that's fine too, but that's not what we're doing, and it's not the audience that we're catering to.
So what excites you most about Putumayo's future?
Well, the thing that I love about this digital record label is we're actually putting out so much music. And for me, one of my biggest frustrations was that we were limited in the past to 10, maybe we would do 10 albums in a year. And I was finding all this great music and we didn't have a way to introduce it to people. And so for me, as somebody who loves music and is always finding great new songs, I'm excited about the possibilities of being able to release more music to people, to introduce people to more artists that I really love and more songs that I think are really exceptional. I'm really excited about creating this sort of community of people, through our subscription program and through the various platforms that we're involved with, where we can be in direct contact with each other and build this network of people. One of the platforms that I really love is YouTube. We're creating sort of album recreations on YouTube where people can listen to full album videos. But what I love most about YouTube is its direct interaction with the audience. Like, people can send in their feedback, their comments. They can talk about the first time they ever heard a Putumayo album back when they were kids and their parents used to make them listen to it in the car, or how it changed their world, or what they love about the albums. And it really creates this sense of a community that extends across the globe. The Putumayo audience is worldwide because there are like-minded people no matter what culture you're from. Everybody from every part of the world is interested in people from other part of the world. And so we're trying to basically connect those communities, and not just of the listeners, but also of the artists. One thing that I'm really happy about, and I look forward to developing further, is the way in which artists who have been on Putumayo collections have connected with each other. Either we've introduced them because they've asked us to. I just did that today for a couple of artists. Or they've reached out to each other and said, hey, we're on the same album. I really like your song. And then they've ended up collaborating together. And so I see that as a really exciting possibility as well, creating this sort of family of artists that will hopefully collaborate and work well together in the future.
Well, I'm definitely happy to be part of your family.
Yeah, we are happy to have you, Shambhu. It's
Really
fantastic.
am.
Yeah.
Yeah. And if there are other artists that want to submit music for your consideration, how do they do that? And what are you looking for? And what's the best way to reach you?
Yeah. I mean, what we're looking for are, as I described before, songs with some sort of cultural root that are accessible to a fairly wide audience, that have strong melodies, that are positive in energy. We don't really put a lot of heavy, intense, songs about death or sex or, whatever. We're like trying to be family friendly, to a large degree. Lyrics that are appropriate for a wide range of audiences, no songs about drugs or alcohol or things like that. We're not Disney. I don't mean that way, but I just mean songs that are positive. We want songs that are in some way uplifting or contributing to a better world. And I would suggest that artists just listen to our albums. The more of our recordings you listen to, the more you'll get what it is that we're about. And in terms of sending submissions, we have found that the most efficient way to send music to us is through a number of submission platforms. There are these new platforms, not new, but platforms that have developed in recent years that are designed for artists to submit music to playlisters and record labels. The main ones that we use are Submit Hub, Groover, and Playlist Push. And those are 3 submission platforms where you're guaranteed to know that we've listened to your song, and you'll even get feedback from me directly about the song, why it's not appropriate for us, why we really like it, but think, the mix could be improved, or, hey, we love it, we'll be in touch in a week to license this song from you. So there's a lot of opportunities. Or sometimes if we like the song, we think it's really good, it's maybe not quite at the level that we're looking for a Putumayo compilation for licensing, we'll still add that song to our playlist. So we have a growing roster of official Putumayo playlists on all the major platforms that have become, in and of themselves, very important discovery tools. So we update these playlists every week with exceptional new songs. And so there are a lot of opportunities for artists to gain some more exposure for their music through sending us their music through these submission platforms. You are welcome as an artist to send us just submissions@putumayo.com, but the reality is we get so much sent to us that way, and we don't respond to those emails. We just get too much. So if you really want to know that we've heard it, best to use those platforms.
Great, that's really helpful. Is there anything you'd like to talk about that I haven't asked?
There's so much to talk about, I guess. I'd be curious to know from you, asking you a question. What was your experience, both preceding having one of your songs on a Putumayo collection, and then after as well?
First of all, it's a great experience because, when you're sort of an artist putting out music on your own, you're on your own.
Yeah.
And when you can associate with another party like you guys, you have a giant catalog, you have a giant distribution. It's very helpful, and it's not only helpful for the music, but it's helpful for the story of the artist.
Right.
That
Yeah.
there's some interest in the artist from you guys, which means a lot. And then so that was incredibly helpful, and I was very honored, and still am honored. And then I did proceed to submit songs through some of those playlist platforms, and you very kindly responded, and you probably put 3 or 4 of them on different playlists.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
So I think it's very important for the artists, and you guys play a big role in a land of diminishing returns sometimes.
Yeah. And, speaking of those returns too, one of the things that has become an essential part of the way that this digital record label works is that because of technological improvements, we are able to very quickly and easily create a very fair ecosystem for the revenue that we generate. So we collect revenue from the songs that are part of our compilations, and with the push of a button, we use a platform called Revelator that enables us to ingest every month all of the revenue that we've earned and distribute it based on the agreements that we have with the artists automatically out into their artist wallets. So the artists have a place where they can sign in, they can see how much revenue they've generated, where people are listening, and where the revenue is coming from. And once we have a $50 balance in their account, we send the payment right away through PayPal. And for me, that is, it's not huge amounts of money all at once, but over time, artists have made some significant revenue through this program. And I think more than anything, artists appreciate the fact that it's very clear, transparent, and reliable. And that's something that new technology allows us to do. That was always a bit of a challenge in the past because you're having, physical CDs and royalties coming from all different places. And the process of managing all that was really daunting. And now it's very, very efficient and very easy and very fair.
Beautiful. Well, I'm delighted you were able to take some time with me. And I want to thank you, Jacob, for joining me and for your thoughtful work that has helped generations of listeners experience world music and come closer together in our world.
Thank you, Shambhu. And I look forward to hearing more music from you. You're a fantastic artist, and I hope we work together more in the future.
I do too. And people can explore Putumayo World music and its rich catalog online at putumayo.com. I'll include a link in the episode description. And if this conversation resonated with you, please follow, like, and share Shambhu Sessions wherever you listen to podcasts. I'm Shambhu, and until next time, stay open, stay inspired, and keep listening.